If you've ever stood over a plant with a watering can wondering, am I doing this right? You're not alone. You wouldn't believe how many thriving gardens were almost ruined simply because someone meant well but watered wrong. I've seen succulents drown from kindness, and I've seen tomatoes shrivel from neglect. And the most surprising part, even experienced gardeners make watering mistakes. It's one of the most fundamental acts in gardening, yet it's the most misunderstood. At Hydrohaven, we've made it our mission to decode these basics, so if you've ever overwatered your peace lily or let your mint go bone dry, drop a comment and tell us your story. We want to hear it, because chances are you're not the only one. Now let's dig into what actually makes a good watering practice. Whether you're a balcony gardener with potted herbs or someone managing raised beds in your backyard, this guide is going to change how you hydrate your plants, and possibly save a few from the compost bin. Watering a plant isn't as simple as it seems because you're not just satisfying thirst, you're supporting a living ecosystem underground. Inside that pot or garden bed, roots are not just drinking, they're breathing, exchanging gases, absorbing nutrients, and interacting with microbes. That means too little water slows everything down. Too much water suffocates the roots and destroys life below the surface. It's not just about when you water, but how that water behaves once it hits the soil. Proper watering is about creating balance. You want to saturate the soil deeply so roots can expand downward, but you also want it to drain well so those roots can breathe. When done right, you'll notice healthier foliage, faster growth, improved flowering, and more worm activity in your soil, all signs that you're nurturing not just the plant but the entire ecosystem around it. Before you water, always check the soil. Don't rely on the surface, it dries out faster than the root zone and can be misleading. Instead, insert your finger about 2 inches deep into the soil. If it feels cool and slightly moist, skip the watering for now. If it's dry all the way down, then it's time to water. In larger containers or raised beds where your hand can't easily reach the root zone, use a moisture meter. These inexpensive tools can save your plants by telling you what's happening deep below. With practice, you'll start to read the plant itself. Drooping leaves, slowed growth, or curling edges can all signal water stress, but they can point to either overwatering or underwatering. The key is to pair observation with checking the soil, not one or the other. One of the biggest mistakes people make is watering too quickly and too shallowly. They pour water over the top of the soil, see it drain through, and think the job is done. But if you water too fast, it just runs down the sides of the pot or top layer and never penetrates the root zone. That leads to surface-level roots, weak structure, and nutrient imbalances. Instead, water slowly. Let the soil absorb the moisture. If you're watering a potted plant, pour just enough to see water come out of the drainage holes at the bottom, then stop. That tells you the entire root zone is saturated. Let the excess drain away so roots don't sit in soggy conditions. In beds, water each plant directly at the base, not on the leaves. Leaf watering can invite fungal issues, especially in warm, humid conditions. Some plants, like African violets, begonias, and certain succulents, prefer bottom watering. For these, set the pot in a tray of water and let it soak up for 30 to 60 minutes. You'll be surprised how much better these plants do when their roots control the uptake. Watering should never be scheduled like brushing your teeth. Conditions change daily. Light levels, humidity, wind, and even the type of pot can affect how fast soil dries out. Clay pots evaporate water faster than plastic ones. Shaded balconies hold moisture longer than sun-baked patios. In summer, you may need to water daily for thirsty plants like tomatoes or cucumbers. In winter, houseplants may only need water every 2 to 3 weeks. The secret is paying attention. Good watering means responding to the plant, not following a calendar. Plants also tell you when they're well watered. Leaves perk up, growth accelerates, and the soil has a loose, crumbly texture instead of compacted or sticky. Earthworms will start to appear in raised beds. These are signs of thriving biology beneath the surface. It's easy to kill a plant with love. Overwatering causes root rot, literally the decay of the very structure that supports the plant. Roots turn brown, mushy, and can't absorb anything. Underwatering, on the other hand, stresses the plant, causing wilting, leaf drop, and stunted growth. Both can look similar on the surface, which is why checking the soil is essential before you water. Another common misstep is using cold water straight from the tap. In hot climates, this can shock the roots, especially for tropical plants. Let water sit for a few hours at room temperature before using it. This also helps evaporate chlorine if your water supply has it. And don't forget drainage. A pot without drainage holes is a disaster waiting to happen. Water must have somewhere to go. If your soil is always soggy, even the best watering habits won't save your plant. Going on vacation doesn't have to mean returning to a plant graveyard. Group your plants together before you leave. The collective humidity helps them stay hydrated longer. You can also use self-watering spikes, wicking systems with cotton rope, or even a DIY plastic bottle reservoir stuck into the soil. For houseplants, give them a soak before you leave. Place pots in a shallow tray of water for an hour or two. This ensures that the entire root zone is saturated, not just the top few inches. The difference between a struggling plant and a thriving one often comes down to how you water it. It's not about doing more or less, it's about doing it right. Learning to read the soil, watching how your plants respond, and adjusting your habits with the seasons will turn you from a plant guesser into a plant whisperer. If this guide helped you rethink your watering strategy, don't keep it to yourself. Hit that subscribe button, share it with a fellow gardener, and revisit this video whenever you need a refresher. At Hydro Haven, we're all about simple, proven techniques that transform the way you grow, and watering done right is where it all begins.